Welcome to another episode of the Palace Huddle Podcast. Here are your hosts, Rob Schwartz and Justin Onayemi, two Bears fans who decided talking into a microphone was better than shouting at their television.
What's up, Palace Huddlers? Welcome into episode 38.
Huddle up!
This is the start of a little bit of a special episode for us. We are roughly a month away. It's
exactly 1 month away.
Well, it's like 4 Mondays, right? Is it exactly?
Well, March 27th, drafts April 27th. If that's how you look at a month. I don't know.
31 days might throw that off a little bit.
True.
But, either way, we got 4 Mondays before the next NFL draft. And to basically get ready for that, Justin and I are going to do what pretty much everybody in the world does on social media is mock draft Mondays. We're going to put our own mock drafts out there starting now for the next 4 weeks. And we're going to kind of look at them differently, maybe just come up with some different approaches. And I think Justin made a good suggestion in our little pre-draft meeting to try and go from maybe not worst case scenario to best case scenario, but kind of in that regard. Because to be honest, I don't really think they could go wrong unless they just completely botch the pick.
So basically, we have 4 opportunities to do this, and we kind of came up with 4 different strategies they can take going into the draft. And before we go into that, who's your number 38?
Oh, yeah. So I thought Corey Graham, but I didn't even actually look it up to see if he was.
What was he? Well, anyway, no.
Maybe he was 31.
Was he in the 20s? Okay, sorry.
I don't remember.
38. I got one. Daniel Manning.
Daniel Manning. He's a defensive back.
Yeah. There's a couple others as well. So, but that's what we'll go with.
This is a meh episode number.
So we talked about there's like 4 ways they could go about this.
Yeah.
And one of the things we discussed with how free agency shook out, or at least up to this point, is they're not entering this draft necessarily without obvious needs.
Right.
And so we think if you're going to address specific needs, the glaring ones are offensive tackle or an edge rusher. But it would be awesome to be able to go best player available, regardless of position. And then there's also the possibility of trading back. So we kind of ranked those and agreed that the worst case scenario is to just outright say with the number 9 pick, you're going to take a tackle.
Yeah.
You want to explain the rationale, or do we have the same rationale? I don't know.
For me, I just don't like pigeonholing myself into one specific position. I'm more of a best player available type of guy. I'm a tiered guy. We've talked about this a few times. I love my tiers. So when I get my guys into a tier, I'm going to consider everyone within that tier, not necessarily who's number 1, who's number 2, who's number 3 in that tier. And then value is going to come into play based on the rest of the prospects throughout the rest of the draft on where I think they're going to go. And then the value of that position in regards to, okay, Bijan Robinson, probably a really great running back, but running back is way down on my priority list as a positional value. So he's not going to be in that conversation.
So I think for me, why tackle is slightly less appealing than going edge rusher, again, if you're going to go in on a particular position ahead of time, is because I think you can get guys later at the tackle position and still be happy with their production or value. Not as confident of that at the edge. Although I'm sure there's guys to be found in both positions.
Yeah.
Which is why we both think best player available or trading back is a better option.
Correct.
So for today's episode, we're going to mock a 7-round draft, and we're going to lock in and say that we're taking a tackle at the number 9 pick.
Yes.
I wouldn't want to hope that Poles is doing such a thing, but we
I
want to frame it for our viewers and listeners.
Right. And I do think that tackle is a high priority.
Absolutely.
Right. And I do want to say, so this is something that came out today from Poles. You know, they're down at the owners' meetings and stuff, which, by the way, I'm really hopeful that we hear that the Chicago Bears are going to be on Hard Knocks. Like, they're one of 4 teams that are eligible. So that announcement usually happens after the owners' meeting. So I'm hoping that's what ends up coming out, but we'll have to see. So Poles had this to say. As a club, we're happy with the progress that we're making, but at the same time, we know we have a long ways we have to go to get this roster to where it needs to be. But what's cool is we've used different methods to improve. With the trade, with DJ Moore, with the draft picks this year, but also for the future, I think it sets us up nicely. And then free agency, I really wanted to marry need and value, and where that came together, I thought we did that well. Again, on paper right now, we're better than where we were before, but we all understand we've got a long way to go.
Absolutely. So we're going to be doing this through PFF. Thankfully, you're a paid member, because apparently you can't do a full 7 anymore in the free version, nor can you trade. Now, we already said we're not going to trade that first pick. Right. However, there are options to trade up if we want to target a guy.
Correct.
I say we leave that on the table.
Yes.
And see how the draft's going.
We're just going to make the rule with the first round for these 4 separate scenarios, right?
Yeah.
Second, third, fourth, that's all on the table.
Well, we can trade back up into the first round is what I was basically implying.
We could do that too.
If we see the need and opportunity.
Yeah.
All right. Should we get this going?
All right. Carolina Panthers are on the clock.
Dude, you're going way too fast. You said you had a medium.
I did.
That wasn't medium.
That was medium.
Well, go slower then.
Right. I'll put it on the very, very slow.
You had it on turbo.
No, with resets.
I don't think you had it.
Yes,
because that was
I
fast.
set all of this up differently too.
All right. Well, I'm saying I've seen it go much, much slower than that. We need to have time to digest and see, but we already said we're not trading up or trading back quite yet.
All right. So for the settings, like I'm having it a little bit less PFF focused, a little bit more public. I don't want to necessarily just go off the PFF grades and then they just take it based on their grades. The care for positional value and the draft needs, I have those basically right in the middle. And then randomness, we went with less, not anything too crazy.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Here we go.
Slow as it can go, 7 rounds, right? And we're clicked for the Chicago Bears. Let's try it again. All right. Panthers are on the clock. CJ Stroud. It's my QB number 1. Bryce Young goes second to Houston. Will Anderson goes to the Cardinals. Will Levis. So we got 3 quarterbacks within the first 4. Tyree Wilson is gone at 5. Christian Gonzalez goes to the Detroit Lions. There's the 4th quarterback, Anthony Richardson, to the Raiders.
I was just about to say we might have an opportunity at Jalen Carter, which we weren't going to do because we said tackle, and he went at 8 to Atlanta.
Atlanta Falcons. And I'm also surprised, though, again, maybe they're not considering the offseason moves, but you got Jimmy Garoppolo going to the Raiders. I don't see them taking Anthony Richardson, but he's a developmental quarterback.
Exactly. He's not the long-term solution necessarily.
We'll have to see what they think there.
Okay, so we are on the clock, but in this particular mock that we're doing, we decided we're going to go tackle.
Yes.
So at this point, at the number 9 pick, I would say there are 3 candidates. Do you agree with that, Rob?
I agree.
All right, let's talk about them.
So number 1 on my board is Paris Johnson. Okay, we're going to add him in here. Maybe. There he is. All right, Paris Johnson, left tackle, Ohio State. Played a little bit with Justin Fields, not a left tackle, though. He was actually a right guard in 2021. And he barely played in 2020, so very little bit of time with him. Clearly, they know each other, though. Height, he's got the most height out of the 3 prospects that we're going to look at here at 6'6". The weight's right where, Bob mentioned it many times on the podcast we did together, right where Brian Poles wants it, that 310, 305 to like 315 range. Monster length in the arms, huge 36 and an eighth.
Yeah.
Like that's such good length. He did not do all of his testing, so we don't have a RAS score at this point. He's let up 2 sacks over the last 2 years and 25 quarterback hurries over the last 2 years.
And I know he's tall and has long arms, but from that picture, it seems like he has 2 heads, which can come in handy.
An extra shoulder.
All right, so Paris Johnson, I also think is my number 1, which might give away our pick. But why don't we take a quick look at the other possible options at this pick.
All right, let's look at
Local products.
Skoronski. Yep.
Peter Skoronski, and without even going into it, I mean, you'll see it pretty quick here. Height and weight, again, is right where you would want it for a tackle, 6'4", 313. But it's been the arms. That's the thing that keeps getting mentioned, smaller arms. Now, production-wise, let up 5 sacks and 26 hurries. Those numbers surprised me. I thought that was a little higher than I expected to see.
So I will say that with this, he started for 3 years, where Paris Johnson only started for 2. So it's a little bit inflated there. So he's only let up 1 extra hurry and with a whole extra year,
Okay.
right? And then 3 extra sacks.
Got it.
So
Okay.
I did not break it down as like a per year type of situation, but he's only played left tackle at Northwestern. So it's something to remember as well.
So obviously, one other thing to keep in mind is the Bears seem happy with Braxton Jones at left
Yes.
tackle. So whoever they're drafting here potentially could be playing right tackle.
Yep.
Or at least competing for left tackle.
All right, here's the third guy. Third guy is Broderick Jones out of Georgia. Again, height 6'5", 311, right there, right where we've been saying Poles wants them to be. Not quite as long of arms as Paris Johnson, but decent enough, almost 35 inches, right? 34 and 3/8.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a good athletic score at 9.57, which, by the way, we didn't mention, but Skoronski had a decent athletic score as well. Again, this is over 2-year span, same amount of sacks allowed, only 12 quarterback hurries.
That's good production.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can go wrong here, which is exactly why if this was the scenario, I wouldn't be taking the pick. But we said we're going to slot in and take a tackle here. So are we in agreement that it's going to be Paris Johnson?
Yeah. Paris Johnson is my number 1. Broderick Jones is my number 2. So,
all right.
I will lock him in.
Why don't you go back to us? All right. So we will select Paris Johnson at number 9. Our next pick is 53.
Yeah, we got
unless we move up. So we're watching.
I'm gonna pause it for a second. Never mind, because I can't see the players.
Yeah,
so we'll just let it go.
Yeah. All right. Skoronski went at 11 to Tennessee. We're not gonna be able to call all of these out.
No.
Let's just say when Broderick Jones goes.
Miles Murphy just went at 14 to the Patriots.
Broderick Jones to the Packers.
Oh, to the Packers. What is that?
Lucas Van Ness, edge rusher of interest, goes to Commanders.
Jackson Smith-Njigba to the
To
Lions.
the Lions. That's interesting. Bijan Robinson at 19 to Tampa Bay. Brian Breesy, another guy we like, although defensive interior, Seattle.
Forfeited, went to the Miami Dolphins at 20.
All right.
There's Kalijah
So
Kancey.
while we're watching this, what are some other options we're going to have, assuming we don't trade or anything like that, at 53?
I mean, we're getting down to 53. You hope that maybe Adetomiwa Adebawore is available, but we just saw Mel Kiper put him into his top 15.
Mm-hmm.
Keanu Benton is another defensive lineman out of Wisconsin who might be a good guy.
Should we pause here?
We're
at pick 35.
Close.
Okay. Pick 36. Is this a point where we want to trade up? Now, one thing about PFF, and if you're out there, you work for PFF, please take this as constructive criticism. You can't see the player pool to know what you want to trade up for.
Super frustrating that they make that happen. Like, if I lower this, will it let me?
So how can we see it?
See, but now it only gives us who has been selected. It doesn't give us an option to see who is still on the board.
Okay.
So we kind of just have to know.
All right. Well, if you have one guy in mind, but I don't know. You want to let it ride?
Well, let's just quickly think of positions. Okay. Is there a tight end worth moving up for at this point? I don't think so.
No.
Is there a defensive end moving up for at this point? I feel like the top guys are pretty much gone.
But there's value in some other players.
Right. I mean, like, you could get Foskey out of Notre Dame at this point. One of the guys I really like is Harrison out of Ohio State, but just based off of other mock drafts I've done, I know he's going to be available in like
Okay.
the third round.
Let's just let it ride.
All right.
And we'll take note of when key players go for our future ones.
Darnell Wright.
Darnell Wright,
Another tackle.
pick 36.
This is like what you mentioned.
So-
There's some good tackles that you
Exactly.
can get later.
So if we had gone with an edge, you could be getting a DeJuan Jones, even though he's a bigger guy.
There goes Isaiah Foskey, as I mentioned. BJ Ojari is another guy out of LSU.
Halfback to the Jets at 42, Jahmyr Gibbs. All right, we're at pick 45. Packers take a guard.
Steve Avila.
Darnell Washington
That's your guy.
to the Patriots. He's going to be Gronk all over again.
Luke Musgrave. That's a guy I like, and he just went to Detroit.
Felix Anudike.
Azuma. Yeah, he's a
went
guy.
at 49. He's a guy we could have targeted.
Yep.
We're one pick away. All right.
All right. So Editami was here.
Tomiwa Adebawore. All right. Is that our guy?
I don't know. Let's
Take
think.
a look.
Do we need a center or do we go defensive end?
Well, we have a pick coming again in 8 picks.
Right.
And if you check center real quick, I want to see if any have gone. There's a big 3, I would say, in this draft.
I don't recall seeing any of them go. No,
Okay.
they are all there.
All are available. So we're
definitely
not gonna go there.
not going.
You
there.
hold off. So right now, if the Bears don't trade up between 9 and 53, to me, that's a long time to wait to not pick. However,
Yes.
then you go 53, 61, 64, which is
Right.
pretty cool. 3 picks in the next 11. So we got to make all of these matter. Wide receiver no longer as big of a concern after the DJ Moore acquisition.
And I checked the corners, and there's no one there that stands out to me as somebody we have to jump for. So
Okay,
I'm thinking we got to go defensive lineman.
let's do it.
And so the question is, do we go?
You can select multiple, can't you?
Yeah, do we go? Andre Carter out of Army, more of a OLB in my opinion, a little bit lean. I'm leaning. I'm leaning Tommy.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
Northwestern,
By the way, we did have 3 trade offers, but we can't go back any further
Big
at that
10.
point.
okay, now the center went. One center.
JMS went. Keanu Benton went. Joe
Tippmann.
Tippmann went.
You wanna-
Uh-oh.
Hold on. Do you want to trade?
Come on, where's Weipler?
Actually, I read an article about a different center that they said the Bears are interested in.
Is it the guy from Michigan?
No.
Okay. So right now,
From Penn State.
so right now we have 2 picks ahead of us. Do we take the risk?
I say wait,
Okay.
because I just told you they like a guy out of Penn State. What's his name? Juice something.
I am not familiar. And there goes
And
Weipler.
there goes Weipler. All right. So see how low that guy is on the list. Not saying we take him here, because now I think we wait. He's from Penn State. Juice Scruggs said he performed very well at the Senior Bowl. So, but the Michigan guy as well.
I was going to say, the Michigan guy is higher on my list. I haven't even actually watched anything
So
on
we got-
Juice.
We're picking here at 61. We're picking again at 64. Team with a lot of needs. Let's look at best available over the whole draft board.
Yeah, let's go to all. All right, so we don't need a quarterback. We could go corner. See, again, Matthew Bergeron's here
Right.
out of Sycamore.
He would have been
or
fine to
Syracuse.
take.
Like,
So we did this one first because we feel it was the worst strategy to do.
Yes.
And we're already struggling because we
Yeah.
see tackles we'd be okay with, but not necessarily guys at other positions.
you know what? There's a corner that I like.
Okay.
I'd like to see if he's available.
All right. Who is it?
Clark Phillips. He is.
From Utah.
This is a
Which
guy.
is where Jalen Johnson's from, right?
He's a guy I think would fit in really well here in Chicago. I have him ranked higher than every other corner that PFF has ranked higher here. So,
Okay. You want to go for a corner?
I mean, it's definitely a need.
It's a need for sure. And now we missed out on our 3 centers.
Right. I think we can wait.
Okay. Let's go.
All right.
Clark Phillips the third. All right, we're going to be picking here soon. Cody Mausch. That's a guy I like at tackle as well.
Yeah.
I've seen some mocks that have him going in the first, late in the first.
Yeah. I think he's kind of like a Tevin Jenkins of this draft, to be
Okay.
honest.
Okay.
And to be honest, you might even be able to play him at center. He played all positions while
That's
he was at the
right.
Senior Bowl.
That's right.
So,
You like that flexibility.
yeah.
All right, so now we're up again at 64. 2 players went off the board. Can you show me real quick who went off the board between these picks?
Yeah, so it was Cody Mauch
Mauch.
and Derek Hall, edge rusher out of Auburn.
Okay, so we are up again, 64. We won't pick again until 103. So we definitely got to make this matter. And is one of those centers worth taking here, or do we feel they'll be there at 103? That's a ways. I mean, it's a need. If you go down that list right there,
right,
I don't see a need as big as that. So do we want to take our guy out of Michigan?
Yeah, let's take
Olusegun Oluwatimi.
There you go. Justin's way better at saying those. Is that Nigerian?
That's a Yoruba name.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we have a center to compete, right? As the starting center, we got our left tackle is my assumption, or he could play right tackle, right? If they want to keep Braxton Jones.
Possibly. Keon White just went.
We got a corner.
Sidney Brown out of Illinois to the Raiders at pick 70.
Jalen Duncan's another decent tackle prospect out of Maryland.
So this is true. This one first. I'm
Blake Freeland.
I'm writing a note here.
Is it
lots of guys were available late, even into the third. Okay, so there were tackles.
So now, what's nice to remember is like Ryan Poles and Ian Cunningham last year, like they were doing these things. They were constantly like mock drafting and like doing different scenarios and trying to play out what happens if this happens. Where do we go from here? Where do we pivot? Where do we zig? Where do we zag? Like what we're doing right now is part of the process.
I'd be disappointed if they didn't. I mean, do you think every GM is?
I'm sure they are. I'm just saying, like, this isn't
it's important to do, yeah.
Right. This isn't just like, oh, let's just throw out names and see how it sticks. Like, this is an important thing. And I think it's good that we're going to change up our strategies every time.
Right. All right. So we're at pick 91 is where Andre Carter just went to Buffalo. So we were debating him earlier.
Yep.
Jamie Robinson came up on our crossover episode.
Yeah.
Out of Florida State, goes 92 to Cincinnati. And I think for the rest of the draft, we're pretty much going to do best player available.
Pretty much. Oh, there goes my edge rusher I liked. Zach Harrison.
At 97.
97.
So few picks before us. Granted, we think, addressed that position, although here we go. We're up.
All right.
Some of the names that were there at 61 are still there.
Yeah.
Garrett Williams, corner, we already addressed. Carl Brooks, edge rusher out of Bowling Green. And then here's where you start to see some halfbacks.
Yeah.
Dwayne McBride out of UAB. Moro Ojomo out of Texas, inside defensive line.
Yeah, we don't really need that now just because he's more of a one tech, and we got my buddy Andrew Billings. So
what about a tight end?
Yeah, let's see who's available. I'm not a big fan of Shoemaker, who they have listed as the best tight end available.
Okay.
I want to say the guys
take a receiver really as well.
Were gone.
Have you heard what's Zach Kuntz situation?
I was going to say I would take Zach Kuntz over Shoemaker here.
Okay.
No one else is standing out to me.
All right.
Let's take a quick look. And one edge rusher that stood out to me is the guy who played opposite of Myles Murphy, and that's KJ Henry out of Clemson. Oh, you know who actually I like the most is Colby Wooden out of Auburn. But let's see. He's at 113. 130 is their ranking.
Yeah, he might still be there. There's quite a few guys above him.
Right.
Can you show? Let's look at receivers. I'm just curious.
Let's take a look. Oh, Keyshawn Booty. That's how I like to say his name, out of LSU. That guy is something because before his injury, he looked like he was going to be a first-round wide receiver. Then he wasn't going to – he came out that he was going to go into the draft. Then he said he wasn't going to go in the draft. Then he came back out that he's going in the draft. And, like, his stock kind of just plummeted. People just keep forgetting about him.
Okay.
I don't know if he fits with what Chicago wants to do. He's kind of a big body type guy. but the upside is definitely there.
I see right below him is Jaden Reed out of
Jaden Reed
Michigan
is a
State.
guy I like out of Michigan
Speed
State.
guy, right?
Yeah.
Stretch the field.
I like him.
Excuse me.
Probably kind of falls in line with, similar production or type play style as what we have with Darnell Mooney. He stretches the field a little bit more than Mooney.
Okay.
Andre Losivas, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, out of Princeton's another guy who's like tested off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be fine with any of these guys here if we wanted to add to the wide receiver room, or if we wanted to go back and see it. Tight end,
other positions again, please.
I don't think we need a tight end right now either, just because they addressed it with
So let's go best player available.
Robert Tonyan. Do we go halfback? I like Dwayne McBride.
I like him too. I mean, you swung and missed with Ebner last year.
Right.
So now you're doing the same thing. You're drafting a guy with potential. He doesn't have to play right away.
Yeah. He's not a complete package, but if you're bringing him in as your third running back and give him an opportunity,
let's do it.
All right.
Dwayne McBride, halfback out of UAB. So that was pick 103. We're picking again 133. Halfback went right after us.
Yeah.
B. Young out of Alabama, 105.
There goes Schoonmaker. There goes Wooden. That's
107. Booty, 108. All right, so the people we were looking at are starting to go. We should get a quarterback out of this draft. I don't know where. I don't think it's here yet, but just keep that in mind.
Yeah,
there goes Jaden Reed to the Falcons at 113.
I do think the fact that they added PJ Walker, I feel like you can just wait until the 6th or 7th
and just
round.
Take your guy, whoever's there.
Yeah,
okay.
You just take a developmental guy at this point.
That makes sense. All right, so here comes pick 120. Carl Brooks. He was sitting on the board for a while.
He was. His draft stock has kind of gone down quite a bit.
Andrew Voorhees at guard to the Chiefs at 122. Zach Kuntz, 123 to Seattle.
The Voorhees one just still hurts me. The fact that he
linebacker
messed up his knee.
Should we have been looking at linebacker?
I mean, you should, but at the same time, they just put half their offseason money into linebacker.
Yeah, but you need depth at a position like that.
Yeah, they just grabbed somebody from Tennessee.
Kobe Turner, interior defensive lineman. Went to Dallas at 129, and we are on the clock now at 133. We also have pick 136.
Yeah.
So here's another time where the Bears are going to have pretty close range between their two picks.
Speaking of depth, we haven't looked at safety.
Okay.
There's some decent safeties available right now. The name that stands out to me the most, and I still don't understand why his stock has dropped this far, is Brandon Joseph. You're
a Golden Domer though,
but he was a ball hawk when he was with Penn State, and then he transferred to Notre Dame. His numbers actually went down quite a bit, but he honestly reminds me a lot of Eddie Jackson, the way he plays off the ball. I think he could learn from him. I think he could be somebody who comes up. Eddie Jackson's only here for another 2 years.
And you already have Brisker who wants to come up and make hits.
Right. He's definitely a free safety. Right. He is not a strong safety. He's a free safety.
Okay.
So that's definitely an option. If you want to take a quick look and see what else we got.
All right. You want to take that off or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. We got a halfback already. We've addressed O-line and D-line. I mean, linebacker, like I said.
Cam Jones.
For depth, but.
You wanted to go quarterback. He's got a ton of yards.
Not yet. I agree. We can wait. Okay. Oh, boy. Hey, if there's a guy you like, this might be the time to take him.
Another Golden Domers is still available, and Jarrett Patterson, too. Just throwing that out there.
You tried to convince me it wasn't for that reason. Now the truth comes out.
I mean, some other names who are...
we did get a center.
Yeah, we did. Some other names who are available at safety, by the way, are Rashad Torrance, Quindell Johnson, and the other guy that I kind of liked is Ronnie Hickman.
Are we going to do this without a break?
We could take a quick break. I was hoping.
Let's do a break after this pick, or because after this pick we'll have 136, 148, 218, 258, 4 more picks.
All right, let's. Are you going to let me just get my guy?
Let's go for it.
All
Brandon Joseph. This roster is so complete that we can now just take
That's right.
a flyer on a guy. All right, we're going to take a break and finish up this draft after this. All right, Hallis Huddlers, we are back in the middle of our first of 4 in a series of mock drafts that we're going to do. We're going to release one each week, and we agreed upon ahead of time how we were going to approach this one. Not the way we actually believe they should, because we locked in at tackle, and already we're having buyer's remorse because we saw a lot of names in the second and third round that we'd be fine to draft and plug in at right tackle.
I love Paris Johnson.
Yeah.
We pigeonholed it.
Yeah, we did. So we'll after the we have 4 more picks. After that, we'll break the whole thing down and kind of talk about why this strategy might not have been the best. Before we do that, Rob, do you want to mention the promotion we're still trying to get to?
Yeah. So again, we are at 312 subscribers right now. We need to get to 330. That's it. So if you're a Bears fan and you are already subscribed, but you know Bears fans, because I mean, who doesn't? I could list off 12 to 50
I could lift
right
off
now.
329.
Yeah, exactly. Tell them about the show. Tell them, look, you don't even have to watch if you don't want to, but it's a good show. Watch it, see if you like it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button either way. Get put into a drawing for a free Obvious Shirts shirt. Whether it's Bears, whether it's baseball, whatever you want, you can pick it. We will buy it. We will send it to you directly.
And if you've been with us from the beginning and you recruit somebody and they end up winning the shirt, steal it.
Yeah, there you go. And by the way, there's more things going on in the future. So if you're already subscribed, there's going to be other things. I just saw those draft hats today.
Oh, yeah.
They are, I don't like to use the term fire because I'm old. They are fire. They are lit. Like, okay, this is for our younger audience.
Oh, man. Oh, good work, man. You sound really cool right now.
Here's the thing, okay? They have been so bad at these draft hats for so long. This year, I'm like actually excited.
Okay.
I think I'm going to convince myself to buy one.
Let's do it.
We will buy one.
We'll do a giveaway, but we got to
right?
get up to another number.
Yes.
We'll decide on that one later. All right. So we are picking here soon.
Just picked 133, took Brandon Joseph, safety out of Notre Dame.
And we're coming up at 136.
All right.
All right. Here we are.
Back on the board.
It also doesn't do a good job showing you who you pick, but
No.
I should write them down next time. But we know we've addressed offensive line, defensive line, safety, corner. We got a receiver.
We did not get a receiver. And
Oh,
that's
we did
actually what
not
I
get a
just pulled up
receiver.
right now.
Okay.
Okay.
We did not get a receiver.
Okay. There's some guys, and I'm not going to go off of the PFF ranking here. Okay. I already mentioned here, and I butcher names, so I apologize. I'm like the least
Andre
cultured
Iosivas,
when it comes to names.
Iosivas?
Yeah.
I don't know how it's pronounced.
Out of Princeton. Okay.
What's his height?
He's a 6'3",
Okay.
205 guy, another bigger guy.
Okay.
He
looks like I saw there he's a 4-year player, and then with COVID, he looks a little older, but still nowhere near Bayless.
we got to get that joke.
Had
in
to,
everybody.
we're looking at receivers.
Ronnie Bell out of Michigan is another guy.
You've liked him for a
that I
while.
like. Okay.
Okay.
I think you mentioned Jake Bobo on a different one.
I never did,
No,
but
maybe
man,
it
with
was-
a name like Bobo,
Maybe it was.
it might have been Bobo.
Maybe it was Bobo. That's what I was about to say.
Okay, I mentioned Puka
That's who you mentioned
Nasua,
out of.
but I don't know
BYU.
why. So we're gonna have to research him.
Okay, I have not looked into him at all yet. But Matt Landers, you want to talk about a guy who's got some height? Okay, this guy's 6'4". What they say here, I think he actually measured in at 6'5". You want a red zone guy? Matt Landers out of Arkansas.
Check on Puka. I think 6'2", maybe. Yeah,
Yep,
6'2",
6'2",
201. Out of BYU.
These are all bigger guys, right? Other guys that are on the board for anyone who wants to know. Maybe you guys are higher on these guys. Jalen Moreno Cropper, Fresno State. Bryce Ford Wheaton out of West Virginia. Xavier Hutchinson out of Iowa State. These are all guys I have lower on my rankings. So if we want to go wide receiver, I'll let you weigh in because I kind of stole the Brandon Joseph thing here.
No, I mean, I don't know. Ronnie Bell does stand out to me. Can you go down to him?
Yeah.
He's pretty far down there, though. But, again, that's just one set of rankings.
Yeah, I don't
What do you know about the Princeton guy?
What do I know about him? So I wasn't in on him until actually one of the guys who coordinates. He used to write for us at Bear Goggles On. Now he actually does his own thing for the Golden Domers. He's a big Notre Dame guy, but his name's Nathan, and he actually put me on to him. Again, just a guy who's bigger but has speed.
I was going to say, I think he did well at the combine.
Yeah, he's one of the faster guys. I don't have his stats in front of me from like an
that's
RAS
who
standpoint.
that's who I think we'll go with here.
Okay, I mean obviously
Size,
a
speed,
smaller
combination
school,
is,
right?
Yeah.
So he's a developmental guy, but I could see him out-dueling Velus Jones.
Man. Well, and who knows if he even has special teams ability, but all right, so we will go with Andre Iosivas, if that's how you say it.
That's how we said it.
Jarrett Patterson just went.
How did the Texans also get forfeited? They got
forfeited. That was because
twice.
of
No, I'm dad joke. Yes.
Oh, got forfeited. Okay, I thought you meant how they had to give it up. All right, we're coming up again at 148.
Tick tock, tick tock.
We could make it faster now, but
that's okay.
All right.
I don't even know if you can adjust it now.
You can.
Okay.
I mean, when I did it on my phone, I could. All right. I just want to see who the quarterbacks are in case there's a guy that is worth nabbing.
All the
so Aiden O'Connell out of Purdue, Stetson Bennett out of Georgia, Malik Cunningham's a guy you mentioned in the past out of Louisville, but we think all these guys, and Jaron Hall out of BYU, we think these guys will still be there later?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely should be there in the 6th and 7th round.
Okay, and we are at 148, which I think is still the 5th.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, we do not own a 6th round pick.
Got it. All right, so we're not going to pick again for another 70 picks after this.
Yeah.
So I guess we got to make this one count.
Keandre Colborn sitting here. It's just kind of like standing out at me as a guy. Just a bigger guy. This is another massive guy. Like, you know, I like Andrew Billings, right? But
he's on a 1-year
deal.
He's
on a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Need some depth. You need some meat on that defensive line.
All right.
Out of Texas,
don't mind it.
Like they got a pretty solid program here.
I do not mind that pick. All right, but let's see. Go down a couple more. Sorry, you guys can't see the names, but we're just seeing if any of them pop out at us. And really, they're not right now.
Yeah, nobody.
All right, so you had a guy, and he's pretty high up on the list. And Juice Scruggs out of Penn State Center is still available. So
he could be a UDFA guy for all we know.
Right, but I'm just saying if they like him,
right,
then they don't have to spend that higher pick.
Yes.
So, all right, we're going Keandre Coburn, interior defensive lineman out of Texas. And now we definitely should see if we can speed this thing up because we got to go 70 picks. So how would that even work? Oh, yeah, it's this button. See the fast forward? If you hit it once, it goes a little faster. And then if you keep hitting it, It goes mega fast. All right, so now they're going too fast for us to really read to you.
Yeah.
But we'll get to the pick a lot quicker.
I'll just speed it up one more time.
Yeah, because none of these are...
I mean, if you guys want to know anything about these back-end guys, I apologize. I don't have the time to get past the first 150 to 200 guys, and a lot of these guys are in that 150, beyond that 150 to 200
Jaron
range.
Hall just went to Cleveland, I believe. So he won't be an option for us, which also makes me think some Juice Scruggs to Texans.
There we go.
203. Puka to Vikings, so we'll get to see him. All right.
For some reason, Aiden O'Connell's still on here.
Right.
I'm not high on him. He's kind of like I'm gonna, throw a bunch of yards and do the stat sheet thing, but he just doesn't project to me as anything more than a backup quarterback, which I know you're looking for. But So the 4 quarterbacks that they have left are Aiden O'Connell, Malik Cunningham, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and Max Duggan. All of these guys are developmental guys.
All right, so just wait. I mean, you think all of them will be there in 40 picks, or
I think
if they're gone, it doesn't
2
matter?
will be there.
All right,
So the 2 that correspond the most with the players that we have currently in Justin Fields and PJ Walker are going to be Malik Cunningham and Dorian Thompson-Robinson. They're just the more athletic out of the 4, have, decent arms and can run. So,
okay. Well, we won't take them here, but let's just keep an eye on that. We have 2 more picks. This pick at 218 and then 1 more at 258.
Eric Gray's still available. I actually like him, but I know we already addressed him. Oh, I actually took this guy in one of my mock drafts. You had mentioned going after a linebacker. I didn't really do much research on him until I started doing this. He's just going to be a special teams guy. Mohamed Diabate. Diabate. See, I can't.
Hopefully he doesn't have
diabetes. I am sorry, Mohammed. I am sorry. Linebacker out of Utah.
Okay.
Again, it's just these guys at this point, they're all dart throws. We could even throw a dart throw at Matt Landers, who I mentioned earlier, who's still on the board.
Can you scroll down a little bit?
Big, tall wide receiver out of Arkansas.
I don't know what I'm looking for, but if I see it, I'll know.
Sure. I don't think if Justin Shorter is a good name for a wide receiver.
I like Justin.
Yeah, the Justin part is fine.
All right, these names aren't even ringing a bell right now, so I'm okay with the guy you had mentioned.
All right. The one thing
TJ Bass.
The one thing we are going to probably punt on in this whole thing is tight end. We did not get a tight end, which is a little disappointing because this is a good tight end draft class.
Right.
But the problem is that they are all going in those first 75 to 100 picks. The ones that are worth it anyway.
True. All right, coming up on our last pick here, which is 258. And we want to take a quarterback. Aiden O'Connell, Malik Cunningham are both still available. And let's see.
All
4 are still available. So you had originally done Malik Cunningham in a prior one. Is that your guy?
That's my guy. I think he's a developmental guy, guys. He's not going to come in and take over. He's not going to do anything like that. He's going to be your QB3. You're going to stash him on the practice squad. He's not going to be part of the 53-man roster for games. That's who he's going to be. But he's also not going to be one of those guys that people are going to come take off your waivers either.
Right.
So
okay, let's take him. All right.
Now for the PFF grade, which
I'm not feeling that confident about this one.
Whew.
C+ for Paris Johnson.
C+. I got an F. We got an F in here. Wow. They really don't like Brandon Joseph. D+. We got an overall grade of a B, which makes no sense when you look at the actual individual grades that they gave us.
Well,
but
we got an A+ for Adetomiwa.
Yeah,
we got an A+ or A-, for Dwayne McBride's pick, and A for the Keandre Coburn pick.
Again, the fact that he was still there was just shocking to me. But here's the thing with Pro Football Focus, they are so focused on measurables and athleticism, and not necessarily everything that comes out on film. They say they grade individual plays. I take a lot of offense with it because I don't agree with half of the grades that they come up with. But they're really good for stats. I love them for their stats. They're advanced stats. I'm not going to bash them for that. I think they do a great job there. Something better than most anyone else, and that's why the NFL uses them. But I'm not going to put a lot of stock in the fact that they disagreed with some of the selections they made.
So overall, I would like to get a higher grade than a B, but like you just said, it's just a grade. But I did feel that there were tackles we could have been nabbing in the second or even third round, and that's without trading up and monitoring more closely. I think had we done that, we would have landed one of the centers, and I think that could have upgraded this draft a bit. So I look forward to doing these other mocks, specifically not addressing tackle with the first pick.
Yeah, I think.
Will you be disappointed a month from now if the Bears take Paris Johnson at 9?
I'll only be disappointed if they are chasing the way I felt we had to chase.
Which is because we didn't trade back up, I feel like.
That is part of it.
And they would be able to monitor that a lot better.
Yeah. And we had 10 seconds per pick where they get between 7 and 10 minutes. So they get more time to think, okay, where's this player going to go? What teams, like, what's this team's need?
Looking at their needs.
Who do we have to jump up against? We don't have time for that.
Right. So this is not an A+ draft to me.
No, I agree with Pro Football Focus in that regard.
This probably is a B.
I think the B is
I want to
fair.
do better than a B.
The B is fair. I just disagree with some of the individual grades.
I see. Okay.
Which, by the way, Malik Cunningham, we got an A for that pick, and I know for a fact in prior PFF mocks that I have done at 218, I've taken him, and I've gotten an F.
An F?
Yes.
Are you sure it was an F?
It was an F. I was very surprised.
40 picks is more than a round later, so
maybe they've adjusted their grades.
True. I would hope, though.
Right?
I mean, these prospects, they fluctuate.
Yes.
After a pro day or after
yes
combine, things like that. So maybe that might be a steal. All right. So we will do another mock next week.
Yep.
And should we say did we already kind of say what order we're doing it in, or leave that a little bit of a surprise?
No, we'll leave that as a surprise.
Okay.
What's coming up next, you guys won't know. I mean, we gave it little hints, right? But yeah, we got to keep you guys wanting more.
And we still owe you the defensive rankings of the NFC North.
Yes.
So we haven't forgot about that, but we got caught up in mock draft offseason because it's a month away.
It is.
Feels like it's right. I mean,
we've been waiting so long. Has been dying down. Hasn't been much moves. The biggest news is the Lamar Jackson potential trade.
So we talked about one of the options the Bears might have is to trade back, and trading back, if there's quarterbacks on the board, makes it a lot easier, and you get more value in the return if someone's trading up for a quarterback. If Lamar Jackson is now available and one of the teams picking 1 through 8 end up with him, that's one more quarterback that might be available when you pick at 9.
Right.
So that could be huge for the Bears. We'll see. All right.
Good job.
Bear down.
Bear down.